Good morning, Dr. Morton, Dr. Malash, members of the Board of Education, and the Superintendency, and West Administration, parents, families, friends, and of course the class of 2021. Today, we not only celebrate and commend our academic achievements, but today we should also acknowledge our resiliency within the year that we faced. We not only battled the hardships and tribulations that was COVID-19, but we also mastered how to wake up within perfect time to end the Google Meet or Zoom call when class concluded. Though this year was nothing like we expected it to be, we as a West community came together to ensure that it was positively rememberable, and that when we said our final goodbyes, we would be remembered as the class who continued on with success and show what it means to be a true West Lion. We gave back to our community by creating food drive for those in need. We beat school records. We continued our reign over the boot against East, and we even taught some of our teachers how to work the internet. But most importantly, we were able to stand here today as one in such a beautiful way. So please, my fellow graduates, give yourself a round of applause. At this time, I would now like to give thanks to all the people who helped and guided us along the way. Thank you to our loved ones for being our biggest supporters throughout the years, for all the times you shared kind words of encouragement when we failed to have the confidence within ourselves, or even the times you sat and listened to our hormonal teenage drama. I promise it's very much appreciated. Thank you to all our teachers and other staff members for not only devoting your all into our education, but for being people we can turn to without hesitation. Lastly, thank you for all of your outpouring support and wanting to see our developmental success through our 4 years at West. Now, classmates, as we sit here today listening to the other presentations, I want you to savor this moment. I want you to remember the first time you walked into West as a small freshman, being scared of the famous intersection, having so many dreams and hopes for the future, never imagining that these 4 years would go by as fast as they did. I want you to look around at your peers and feel a sense of pride that as a class, we stood by one another and accomplished great things during an extremely challenging time. Lastly, I want you all to take this day as a day of celebration and excitement for not only accomplishing what is required to complete our high school careers, but most importantly, what lies ahead with every one of our futures. Because we did it. So here's to the class of 2021. Dream big, fly high, and go off and do great things. But please always remember that it started here.
Please rise as Matthew James Fox leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance. You should remain standing for the national anthem sung by Samantha Fred and until the junior ROTC retires the colors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Good morning, and welcome to the Cherry Hill High School West graduation for the class of 2021. I am Sky Hills, and I am the Mistress of Ceremonies this morning. We are here to honor this class and to acknowledge 4 years of diligence, excellence, and success. Before we proceed with the ceremonies, I want to thank our guests for being with us. The class and I thank you in advance for assisting us in making this a beautiful and diligent graduation. I respectfully ask you that you silence your cell phones and other electronic devices that may distract and disturb our participants and guests today. I would now like to introduce our guests and ask them to stand. From the Board of Education, Mrs. Laurie Neary, Board President, Mrs. Kimberly Friedel, Board Vice President, and members, Rosie Arroyo, Corinne Elmore Stratton, Carol A. Matlack, Ben Ovadia, Ruth Schultz, Miriam Stern, and Sally Tong. From the Superintendency, Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Joseph Malash, Assistant Superintendent of Compliance, Equity, and Student Services, Mrs. LaKoya Wethington, Assistant Superintendent K-12, Curriculum and Instruction, Dr. Farah Mahan, Director of Special Education, Dr. Caitlin Mallory, Business Administrator, Ms. Lynn Sugars, and Coles Alternative High School Program Principal, Mrs. Lauren Giordano. Also here this morning with the class, Assistant Principals, Dr. John Burns and Ms. Allison Staffen, Faculty Advisor to the Class of 2021, Mrs. Monica Cichon, and reading names, Colonel Alan Schwartz. And the member of the class who will be participants in this morning's exercises, Jordan Monet Bishop, Matthew James Fox, Samantha Fred, Danielle Elizabeth Dupree, Giselle Diana Dickinson, Nathan Ming Sum Kong, Nicole Ann Cervantes Jimenez, and Raphael Samuel Litwin. At this time, I would like to introduce you to Dr. Morton, Principal at Cherry Hill High School West.
Good morning and welcome to the class of 2021's commencement. This is the moment that we all have worked toward for 4 years. It is through the commitment of families, students, and staff members that gets us to this day. At this time, I ask the West staff members to stand and be recognized. They are the professional staff who have chosen to spend their lives in the field of education, helping young people prepare for the future. I wish to recognize their efforts and express deep gratitude for getting your children to this day. You may be seated. The faculty member on stage, Colonel Alan Schwartz, is retiring. He joins the class of 2021 for their commencement exercises and will participate in the tradition of reading the names at today's ceremony. Like the graduates, he will also soon start a new chapter in his life. The West community wishes him much happiness and fulfillment in this next phase of his life. Please join me in recognizing the career of this individual who has committed himself to our Cherry Hill students. I also take this opportunity to thank the underclass participants of the Cherry Hill High School West 781st Air Force Junior ROTC unit, the combined bands and orchestra, the symphonic choir, and their faculty advisors and directors for their contributions to the beauty and dignity of this morning's ceremony. I also acknowledge Jordan Monet Bishop, who gave this morning's salutation, and Sky Ann Hills, who is today's Mistress of Ceremonies. I would also like to acknowledge and welcome Dr. Tony Damon, the new principal at High School West. I'm confident that I'm leaving you in good hands. Our next speaker is Danielle Elizabeth Dupree, who will be speaking on behalf of the class of 21.
Good morning, Dr. Morton, Dr. Malash, members of the Board of Education and the Superintendency, West Administration, parents, families, friends, and of course, the class of 2021. It is an honor for me to be speaking here today on behalf of the class of 21. I'm sure none of us thought we would ever be graduating in the middle of a pandemic. And for a while, we didn't even know what this day would look like. Would graduation be virtual or in person? And if it were in person, where would it even be? Even through all the unknowns, we made it through. Back when we were freshmen, most of us just wondered if we would find our way to class and what the next 4 years would be like. This year will not define us. If anything, this year has proven that the class of 2021 is strong, determined, and able to overcome any obstacle in our way. This past year has kept us all on our toes. It seemed like each week we were being told something new. First, we were starting school on a hybrid schedule. Then, 1 week before our senior year began, we were informed that we would be all virtual and returning to a hybrid model a few months later. We have had countless schedule changes over this past year, and just like Ms. Roscoff said in the beginning of the year, we just have to be flexible. Each day brought something new. Over the last 4 years, we learned about the West Way. The West Way means something different to each of us, but there is no denying the feeling you get when you enter Cherry Hill West, especially for the first time. The West Way is about traditions and relationships. The class of 2021 is lucky enough to have experienced great relationships with each other and with our teachers and the staff. We will walk out the doors of West different than when we entered. During our time at West, some of us played sports, some others would perform the shows or play in the band. Many of us would join clubs and make new friends. The West Way made us better students, friends, sons, and daughters. The class of 2021 had a wonderful advisor, Mrs. Sishan. She has guided us through all 4 years of high school, and we can't thank her enough for her hard work and dedication to our class. The community and bond we have created over these past 4 years will stick with us for the rest of our lives. So no matter where life takes us, make the most of it. To quote Rascal Flatts, my wish for you is that this life becomes all that you want it to. Your dreams stay big, your worries stay small, and that you never need to carry more than you can hold. Thank you and good luck, class of 2021.
This morning's National Honor Society address will be given by Giselle Diana Dickinson, President of the Robert E. Hansen Chapter of the National Honor Society.
Good morning, Dr. Morton, Dr. Malash, members of the Board of Education and the Superintendency, West Administration, parents, families, friends, and of course, the class of 2021. Thank you for being here today. It is an honor for me to be here speaking as President of the National Honor Society in front of a live audience after a long year of speaking to the computer over Zoom calls and Google Meets. Although we tried to make things as normal as possible, nothing quite feels the same over a screen. It would be wrong for me to detail the accomplishments of this senior class without discussing the adversity that we have faced due to the pandemic. Attending school from home and not being able to enter school or seeing any of our classmates was not a normal ending to high school. Virtual schooling was obviously not the easiest thing to experience, especially during our senior year when all we wanted to do was close this chapter and have fun. Although it was nice to attend school from our beds, we missed out on so much of our senior year. However, I do not want to beat a dead horse, so I'll put it simply. We did it. Despite virtual school and the cancellation of many events that most seniors look forward to during their entire high school career, we managed to make it through this unprecedented situation, and I think we deserve recognition simply for that. This senior class has demonstrated their utmost strength and perseverance in ways that no one has ever seen before. What other generation will be able to tell their children that they attended their final high school class virtually? The class of 2021 has had to develop a unique sense of independence and persistence in order to make it through these troubling times. Losing some of our favorite events only opened up room for new opportunities and learning experiences. Although it was difficult, we managed to make everything as normal as possible. Even though we did not actually have students in the school in the beginning of the year, peer leaders still organized a freshman orientation in an attempt to make the freshmen feel welcome. The National Honor Society still held a virtual induction ceremony to recognize the new members. We hosted virtual scavenger hunts, concerts, movie nights, and other activities. The senior class did the best to cope with the world that we were living in. However, persistence throughout COVID is not the only notable trait of this senior class. We are a group of diligent, responsible, knowledgeable, and kind students. I'm grateful that I was able to go through high school with a group of such attentive and compassionate people. This is a class that will do their best to help out anyone in any situation, whether it's a lost freshman or someone struggling with work. On nights where I've been stressed over a procrastinated assignment or stuck doing AP homework that I don't understand, I've always been able to find a member of the class of 2021 who would help me out. West has a way of making people feel at home, and this senior class definitely contributes to that reputation. It is said that West students are world class, and that is absolutely true. With no other group of students could I have planned a virtual freshman orientation or virtual National Honor Society induction with. We have students traveling all across the country after high school, attending Ivy League universities, playing D1 sports, joining the military, or making their mark on their world in their own unique way. No matter what students choose to do after high school, they will carry on the knowledge and lessons they learned during their time at West, all of the assiduity, empathy, and tenacity, and use it to help them succeed. So, as one door closes, another opens. The class of 2021 closes their door on West today as we move on to the next and carry on our strength, perseverance, and passion. I cannot thank West enough for all the memories you've given, and thank you to the class of 2021 for bringing these memories to life. Although there is nothing in the world that I wouldn't give to have a normal senior year, we must not focus on the negative, but rather embrace and appreciate all the good times we spent together. Congratulations to the class of 2021, and I can't wait to see where we all go next. Thank you.
Now welcome Nathan Ming Sam Kong, speaking on behalf of our valedictorians.
Test, 1, 2. No. Good morning, Dr. Morton, Dr. Malash, members of the Board of Education, and the Superintendency, West Administration, parents, families, friends, and of course, the class of 2021. Thank you all for being here for this milestone event, and thank you, Dr. Morton and Ms. Roscoff, for pulling all the strings here to get us here today. I know it wasn't easy, much like writing this speech. I am proud to stand here delivering the valedictorian address, and while I share this title, I unfortunately cannot share the mic. I first want to celebrate and thank my fellow valedictorians, Mia Angelucci and Raphael Litwin. Thank you, and my fellow mathletes, for all the fun memories and shared commiseration in not understanding how infinite series work. Sorry, Mr. McNally. I know I'm expected to stand here and deliver a motivating and moving speech on the boundless potential of our graduating class because I am perceived to be one of the most well-equipped persons to lead us into this next step of our lives, based solely on my grades. But frankly, I'm just like any one of you, confused and anxious, yet incredibly excited for the future. However, I just so happen to be outlandishly good at interpreting SparkNotes and cram-watching crash course videos. But this is what I want to touch base on today, perception. We stand here with the privilege of having received an education that exceeds that of millions of other people on this earth. and many of us have committed to furthering our education to a point that billions of other people will never see in their lifetimes. Yet we perceive this as just the beginning of the road into the real world, which starts at the end of a 13-year-long government-mandated education program. As we all continue down the path into the real world, we must realize that the perceptions we have of the future are based on our understandings that we have gathered from our own perspectives, and the perspectives that we have acquired from the diverse breadth of people around us. As David Foster Wallace said, it's our hardwired default setting, which is to be deeply and literally self-centered, and to see and interpret everything through this lens of self. I believe that we can be a generation in which we can decentralize and change the default setting. I'm incredibly thankful to have had the opportunity to study at West because of the incredibly diversified perspectives represented at our humble school. I believe that our student body is equipped with not only a quality education, but a plethora of varying student experiences that we should all strive to learn from. And with these tools, we are more than ready to step foot into the bright future of tomorrow. We are poised to be the constituents of a new generation that can re-hardwire future humans. Equipped with the soldering iron of diversity and compassion innate to the West Way, it will be our class that leads the way into a more worldly view. It will be our class that prevails because we have braved adversity on a global scale this past year. Yet, our determination remained unscathed. I encourage you all to learn from the story of at least one other person, if not many more. Learning from the experiences of others not like you will strengthen your understanding of the world around you, and it will allow us to handle the toils of the real world with grace and empathy. I know that my story leads me here today, delivering this address, when just one generation ago, my family mulled over the rice fields of South China. Frankly, I owe all of my successes to the sacrifices that my family made. To them, I am eternally grateful. And I hope that I may write a beautiful new chapter in my family's story, just as you all will too. As we all begin to take the next step into our lives, I hope you can recall the fond memories of crushing East at every homecoming game and the Juice WRLD Memorial Rave. But I also hope you have learned from the experiences you've gained here and from those of your peers. While I stand here with a heavy heart, I know that each one of you will carry on lion-hearted with West's tradition of excellence within you. In the future, that will lead you to great success. From the bottom of my heart, thank you all for a great 4 years. Go Lions!
Will the senior members of the choir please join them at this time? Families, please enjoy the Cherry Hill West Symphonic Choir. Representing student government is Nicole Ann Cervantes Jimenez.
Good morning, Dr. Morton, Dr. Malash, members of the Board of Education, and the Superintendency, West Administration, parents, families, friends, and of course, the class of 2021. Thank you all for joining us today to celebrate this graduation. While I understand that this is not the year we all expected, I am still thankful for the time we get to share with each other to celebrate our accomplishments. To begin with, we should thank the committees who contributed to organizing this event, and parent volunteers who have been supporting our class. I thank you, Dr. Morton, for all of your hard work to make this school such a great place. I'd like to thank all of the teachers and staff that made a difference in my life, specifically Ms. Hensley, who is our SGO Executive Committee advisor. She has dedicated so much of her time and efforts into organizing events to help our community. The committee has directed and volunteered at FOP parties, blood drives, and this year we held an Earth Day celebration. We received so many positive messages from students and their parents who participated in our Earth Day party. It warmed my heart to hear how this small event brightened their day and how much fun they had. Additionally, we collected 45 units of blood at our blood drive this year. This group has taught me to lead with love, as New Jersey Senator Cory Booker stated, "I want to impart to you that you are powerful. Life's not about the degrees that you get, it's about the service that you give." The students on this committee have so much love and dedication. I cannot thank them enough for all that they have taught me. From Annika's bright smile, always encouraging others' ideas, to Zoe and Shelley's excellent leadership. Additionally, many members of the SGO Executive Committee work with our Community Service Club to spread positivity, clean up areas around our school, organize and donate to various charities. It is important for us to donate money to organizations that are most effective and passionate about their work. I hope you all appreciate the wonderful education we have received from Cherry Hill West. We have wonderful teachers who work extremely hard to help us, whether it is Ms. Sablick holding extra help meetings at 6 a.m. or Mr. Grillo staying after school to assist in science projects. We are also lucky to have furthered our education in an environment that wants us to succeed. There are so many volunteer opportunities offered and projects started by our own students. Whether you plan on going to college for the next 4 or 10 plus years, you plan on going directly into working, entering the military, taking a gap year to travel, or work on bettering yourself, I am excited to see how far you go and how much you accomplish, and I strongly encourage you to make time to volunteer. This year has not been easy for anyone. Food, clothing, and personal hygiene products are necessities that everyone should have access to. That is why I would like to acknowledge Cheska Santos for organizing a collection for Cathedral Kitchen, as well as our juniors Mia Watson and Natalie Fournier for organizing a collection of women's sanitary items for the women in our community in need of them. With all that being said, I hope this has inspired you to give back in any way you can. It is important for us to actively work to make this world a better place.
I begin today by extending greetings to Ms. Laurie Neary and to the members of the Cherry Hill Board of Education. Your tireless efforts, sacrificial giving of your time, and dedication to the children of Cherry Hill is admirable. With deep appreciation, I recognize Dr. Joseph Malash, Superintendent of Schools. I've been a witness to your tireless and inspirational dedication and devotion for the children of Cherry Hill. It is remarkable. Thank you to the members of the Superintendent's Council. Your efforts to support West have not gone unnoticed, and you are appreciated today. I also extend special greetings to Mr. Chuck Culligan, 12th grade House Office Principal. Your words of wisdom, thoughtful suggestions, and support have been a great asset to me and to High School West. Greetings to the members of the West Administration. I'm thankful for your efforts in assisting the class of 2021 throughout their high school journey. I acknowledge Ms. Monica Sechon, Senior Class Advisor, for her expert planning and ability to adapt in the interest of providing the class of 2021 with a memorable senior year. Finally, I extend greetings to the entire West faculty and staff, and to all parents, family members, and friends in attendance. But most importantly, please join me in extending greetings to the Cherry Hill High School West 2021 graduating class. So this is it. This is the time, the occasion, and the moment that you've spent 13 years working for. For each of you, I'm aware that these 13 years have been filled with highs and lows, with ups and with downs, with unexpected twists and turns. Yet, you've all made it here, to the same place, the same ending to this portion of your journey. For some, things have gone abundantly well, and for others, things have been incredibly challenging. Yet, you've all made it here, to the same place, to the same ending to this portion of your journey. In the next hour or so, you will receive your high school diploma, signifying that you've met the requirements necessary to be deemed a Cherry Hill West graduate. Whether you were ranked first or 355th, you'll leave High School West with the same diploma. I want you to know that I'm proud of each of you. You're all valuable, you're all worthy, and you're all significant. The class of 2021 has extreme importance to me. Many of these young people were in my first kindergarten class when I was the principal at Joyce Kilmer Elementary School. It's a bit surreal. It is a bit surreal to know that I was your principal when you began school in Cherry Hill, and I'm now your principal when you're completing school in Cherry Hill. I'm also proud of the other relationships that I've forged over the last 4 years with many other wonderful students. Undoubtedly, the past year and a half has been extremely difficult. We've all been impacted by the global pandemic in one way or another. There have been civil protests that have swept the country, and if we are solely to rely upon information that's reported, then we need to be in fear and bracing for the worst in our country. However, my time at West has created in me a sense of optimism and hope. I've witnessed the members of the class of 2021 advocate for one another and advocate for others. I've engaged in a close working relationship with the Cherry Hill Chief of Police, Bud Monahan, and we formed the most unique partnership where our local police officers serve as mentors, cheerleaders, and advocates for many of the students that are here today. I've witnessed the staff come together and ask of themselves and their colleagues, what can we do better to advocate for our children? What more can we do to support the children of West? Most importantly, I've witnessed children of all races, of all ethnicities, come together as one school community, united under a creed and a motto that we call the West Way. As I prepare to conclude my tenure as the principal of West, I'm filled with immense gratitude and appreciation. I've engaged in deep reflection about the journey that those who have come before me have had to travel. This has caused me to take an introspective look inside, and in doing so, it's filled me with great admiration for my ancestors, and I recognize that I carry them with me daily. My great-grandmother, Lucy Ann Robinson, was born in 1855 in Henry, Hanover, Virginia. Lucy Ann's mother, Jane, was an enslaved person, and she worked as a house servant. Because of this, Lucy Ann was introduced to a world where a baby born to an enslaved person was subject to a life of servitude and enslavement as well. During that time in our country, the enslaved were denied basic freedoms and opportunities that we take for granted today. The right to vote, to freedom of speech, to participate in formal schooling, to learn to read or to write, or to control one's own body, or to coexist as an equal member in society. These were all legally prohibited. On this Saturday, June 19th, we'll be celebrating the Juneteenth holiday across this country, across the state, and right here in Cherry Hill. The Cherry Hill African American Civic Association will be sponsoring a parade, which I hope that you're all able to come out and to attend. This holiday is extremely important and significant to my family, as June 19th, 1865 marked the day when federal troops enforced the Emancipation Proclamation, thus officially ending slavery as a legally accepted practice in the United States. This would change the course of the lives of generations of people of African descent. My great-grandmother, Lucy Ann, was amongst those freed at the time. And I'm not exactly sure what she did or where she went immediately upon the time that she was freed. However, I do know that 9 years later, she would marry my great-grandfather, a man named William Henry Morton. William Henry was a free black man who had fought in the Civil War as a member of the 23rd Infantry of Colored Soldiers. Together, they would go on to have 11 children, with my grandfather Howard being the 9th-born child. It's telling that William and Lucy Ann ensured that each of their children were able to read and to write. In fact, they would exhort their children to strive for greatness, to take advantage of opportunities, to promote family values, and most importantly, to educate themselves so that they can coexist in a world where they be treated as equal members of society. Racial separation permeated America when my father was born in 1949. Through the 1896 Supreme Court ruling Plessy versus Ferguson, a separate but equal doctrine was practiced in our country, and segregation amongst the races was rampant. It was accepted, and it was the norm. Despite this, my grandfather was an optimist. He would share the ideologies and values learned from his parents with my father. He would teach him what it meant to be an honorable man. He would pass on the ethical, moral, and spiritual values he had learned from his parents. Most of all, he would instill in my father a sense of pride as a man, an unyielding work ethic, and the understanding that progress comes through educating oneself. I never had the pleasure of meeting my grandfather. He passed away before I was born, but I feel like I know him, and I feel like I know him very, very well. You see, the lessons that he taught my father are the very lessons that my dad taught to my brothers and I. These included moral, ethical, and spiritual values. These also included a sense of responsibility for family, pride in oneself as a man, and the understanding that progress comes through educating oneself. As I've gotten older, I've gained an even greater love and appreciation for my parents. I've gained a greater love and appreciation for my ancestors, and I recognize that my life and my successes can be attributed to the people who they were. I'm sure you've all seen the Disney classic movie, The Lion King. It's a favorite in the Morton household. In the Remember Who You Are scene, a grown-up Simba is told to peer into the water as he is on a quest to rediscover his identity and realign with his legacy by seeing his father again, the great king of Pride Rock, Mufasa. Simba looks into the water and disappointedly sees his own reflection peering back at him. But the wise yet eccentric baboon Rafiki reminds him that he lives in you, and Rafiki encourages Simba to look harder into the water. When Simba does, he's alarmed as he sees his face transform into that of his father's face. He begins to hear the words and the teachings that his father had given him when he was just a little cub. In the same manner, the spirit of our ancestors live within each of us. Their stories, their trials, their tribulations, and their triumphs are a part of who we are. As such, we have a responsibility to take advantage of the opportunities provided to us by those who have come before us. I'm not sure if you're all aware, but I was the first person of African American descent to be appointed as a principal in one of the high schools in Cherry Hill. And it's important that you understand that this has been an honor of a lifetime. I've developed phenomenal relationships with students, staff, parents, community members. These include relationships that were not possible for my ancestors to have. I've been embraced by the community, and I often wonder what Lucy Ann would think if she could see her great-grandson now. I'm humbled by the realization that I've been afforded the awesome opportunity to serve as a leader of a dynamic and diverse educational community where people of all creeds and colors coexist peacefully. What may have been a far-fetched dream for my ancestors has been actualized through one of their descendants, and this gives me hope. I recognize that we're far from a perfect country, but we have made progress. I believe that the glass is half full, and I believe that even better days are ahead. Class of 2021, it is your responsibility to ensure that these better days are ahead. As you move forward, I want to remind you to treat people with kindness and with respect, to treat others as you would have them treat you, to accept others, and especially those who may be different from you, and to reserve judgment. Most of all, I'm counting on each of you to spread love instead of hate. As I prepare to close, I'm reminded of an interaction that I had approximately 8 years ago when I was the outgoing principal at Joyce Kilmer Elementary School. I spent my final days saying my goodbyes as I was preparing to move to West as the new principal in the coming year. On one of those final days, I recall a little fourth grade girl coming to see me. She was holding a poster, and she shyly handed me the poster while looking up at me, and she said, "Dr. Morton, I made this for you." I took the poster, examined it, and noticed what it was. It was a model of our solar system. It contained 9 planets that had been intricately cut out from construction paper and pasted on the poster in a circular fashion. I could tell that the young lady paid attention to detail, as the model contained actual rings that had been cut out and placed around the planet Saturn. The planet Jupiter even had the giant red spot drawn on it. I'm not sure if the young lady knew it or not, but I am and have always been deeply fascinated by space. I am a space buff. I love it. The following was written on the bottom of the poster: "Dr. Morton, wishing you all the luck in the universe." And it was signed, Michaela Aguadro. I found Michaela's thoughtfulness to be so special that the next month when I arrived at West, I hung the poster on the wall in my office, and it's been there ever since, serving as a constant reminder of the kindness that my students have shown me. Michaela is actually seated right here in front of me. She's a member of the class of 2021. She had no idea She had no idea that I was going to share this story, and Michaela, I hope I'm not embarrassing you. However, it's very important for me to share this interaction. And I share it because Michaela's thoughtfulness was outstanding, but it was also indicative of the type of affection, appreciation, and respect that I've been given by so many members of the class of 2021. Typically, during my graduation speech, I take the time to mention the moments and memories that I've had with individual students, but I can guarantee you that I will not be able to finish this speech if I were to do that today. So consequently, I'll end my remarks by expressing my gratitude, appreciation, and affection for each of you. You should all know that you have a special place in my heart. Never forget that each of you will forever be members of the Lion's Pride here at West. I encourage you to dream big dreams and to make success a habit. And now I'll conclude by telling you all what Michaela told me 8 years ago. Class of 2021, I'm wishing you all the luck in the universe. Signed, Dr. Morton. At this time, Cherry Hill West salutes the patriotism and the commitment of the members of the class of 2021 who volunteered to serve our country as members of the military. I ask these young men and women to stand as I call their names. Justin Nietzsche Boyer, the United States Air Force. And also there's a special guest joining Justin, his sister who is deployed overseas. Michael John Salerso Jr., the United States Air Force. Matthew James Fox, the United States Navy. Sarah Yujan Kim, the United States Marine Corps. Philip John Kashakshan, the United States Marine Corps. Ronald Preston McBride, the United States Air Force. Ryan Thomas Ott, the United States Army Reserve. Tommy Kanjaya Stevens, the United States Navy. Wilson Wu, the United States Marine Corps. And Ethan Aaron Fulecki, the United States Air Force. Our sincerest thank yous to you all. Members of the class of 2021 have distinguished themselves in academics, technology, the arts, music, journalism, athletics, and service to their school and community. They've brought honor to themselves, to their families, to West, and to the Cherry Hill community. Because the awards of the class members are too numerous to announce, we've published them all in the commencement program, and I encourage our guests to read the varied accomplishments of our graduates. I will now ask all the graduates who have received awards listed in the program to please rise, face your families, and be recognized by us all. Congratulations to you all. The class closure, this morning's final student presentation, will be offered by Raphael Samuel Litwin.
Good morning, Dr. Morton, Dr. Malash, members of the Board of Education and the Superintendency, West Administration, parents, families, friends, and of course, the class of 2021. At the beginning of our high school journey, we never expected that we would be the first class since 2003 to have our graduation at West. In January, we did not even know that an in-person graduation would be possible. Yet, here we are. This has been a crazy year. Without a doubt, our community of Cherry Hill and the world at large has been impacted in so many ways. 10 years from now, our class will look back on our experiences and recall all the unprecedented events that occurred during our last 16 months of high school. While it will be difficult to overlook the hardships we faced, it will be even harder to overlook our ability to persevere and thrive during our senior year while simultaneously creating a new normal. I remember back in March of our junior year when we were told that we would get a 2-week break from regular in-person instruction. We assumed we would spend 2 weeks attending school using some platform called Zoom, while the building would be thoroughly cleaned, and we would be back to our normal routine in no time. In hindsight, I don't think that could have been farther from the truth. We spent the better part of the following year learning virtually, and the common question became, are you hybrid or remote? So much for 2 weeks of cleaning. We could look at this situation in 2 ways. The easy choice would be to feel angry at the world. This was not the senior year we envisioned. It definitely wasn't the year I envisioned, missing out on a season and a half of volleyball, multiple trips for DECA, and a summer retreat for peer leaders. There were many other fun events planned that couldn't happen, namely the senior trip, and in general, we didn't experience a traditional senior year. Instead, Anthony Fauci became a household name, and we were given daily updates on coronavirus numbers. The amount of social unrest was at levels many of us could not have foreseen, and the hardest part has been not having the entire class of 2021 in school together at any given point, as we missed out on key social interaction. The other way we can look at the past year, which is the way that I choose, is to celebrate everything we did get to experience. In doing so, we need to look at our high school journey as a whole. Over the past 4 years, we were able to participate in numerous sporting events and school activities, including the annual East vs. West football game, which still happened despite a year filled with COVID limitations. West will always keep the boot. Our class held leadership positions in various activities. We had 3 Spirit Weeks where we showed off our lip sync abilities and the pride we have as the class of 2021. We had pep rallies and ceremonies to celebrate our many successes. Let's not forget about school dances. The homecoming dance, cotillion, and especially the senior prom will be cherished memories forever. But more importantly, the class of 2021 has created a camaraderie that has shined brightly, especially over the past year. The connections we made and the relationships we formed before the pandemic stood the test of time and separation and are even stronger now than ever before, and I'm confident that these relationships will remain well past today. I believe that it is essential to choose a second, optimistic approach of reflecting on our high school experiences and cherish our perseverance, courage, and togetherness we expressed, even though we were apart. I would like to conclude by giving the class of 2021 a challenge. Over the past 4 years, we have lived by the West Way. The West Way is when we help others, are inclusive, and create a safe, inspiring environment that promotes creativity, growth, and leads to success. So I challenge you to remember all of the positive moments from our time together at West, to maintain the bonds we made through all 4 years of high school, and to spread the ideals of the West Way throughout adulthood. Thank you.
Dr. Joseph Malash, Superintendent of Schools, will now address the class of 2021 and then present them to the Board of Education.
Mrs. Neary and members of the Board of Education, Dr. Morton and members of the Cherry Hill High School West administration, faculty and staff, parents, family members and friends, and finally, to the Cherry Hill High School West class of 2021. Okay. As the Superintendent of Schools for our school district, I am blessed to address the class on behalf of the district's staff and the Cherry Hill community. Honestly, I want to begin by thanking Dr. Morton for his 8 years of dedicated service as the principal of Cherry Hill High School West. His example of living the West Way have been an inspiration to us all. We are grateful for the indelible impact that he has had and that he is leaving on the entire West community. Congratulations, Dr. Morton. The path to high school graduation is not an easy one for any student or for any family, and it's not a path that is ever traveled alone. Each graduating class crafts the story of their own experience. And I can guarantee you, no high school graduating class has ever had a 4-year experience that is more unique than yours. The class of 2021 is absolutely in a class by itself. On this beautiful spring morning, there are multiple generations from all walks of life with different backgrounds and religions, different political beliefs, all together in this stadium and watching us online to celebrate you, our High School West graduates, you who are the greatest part of our community and who truly are our future. As a class, you have established an identity, and you will all leave a legacy in the written history of this institution. And even more importantly, you will leave a legacy in the hearts of all who have been fortunate enough to join you on your journey, including all of your joyous moments and even those challenging days of disappointment. You have been points of light and beacons of hope, shining brightly in Cherry Hill. You have set and achieved goals, and at times you have failed to meet expectations. Yet each day you have gotten up, you have gathered your friends, you've gathered your family together, and you have chosen to move forward, lion-hearted, seizing new opportunities and embracing the responsibility to nurture the next generation of students. You have demonstrated the power that love and support have in our educational community and in our lives. The community of Cherry Hill owes you our thanks and our admiration for the new foundation that you have established for future generations of High School West students. Honestly, one of the things that I cherish the most about being an educator in Cherry Hill is that I have the opportunity to meet so many families and to hear the individual and the personal stories of their Cherry Hill experience. And I can tell you it's not always easy being the parent of a high school student. But being a parent brings about more joy than anything else in the world. I have been with parents during your time in high school as they have laughed and cheered, as they have cried and struggled to find their next step. I have heard from parents bursting with joy and those who are crushed with fear and concern for you as individuals. And this is not something that any of us as parents do alone. So many families and so many community members have given of themselves without thanks and without recognition and without the need for either to fulfill the needs of your class. As a class and as an educational community, we owe them all our thanks, our gratitude, and our admiration. Make sure that at some point today, to directly say thank you to your family, be overt, be purposeful, and be honest in your expression of thanks. With perseverance, you have answered the call to produce as athletes and engineers, as thespians and musicians, scholars and mentors, poised and powerful, humble and heartfelt, strong voices with captivating messages. Each of you has dedicated so much just to be here today, and each of you will move into the future to do great things. As you move forward, do not allow circumstances beyond your control to define you. Rather, choose to create new opportunities and to move ahead. Forge your own path. Remember what you have learned, that your thoughts matter, that your perspective matters, that your voice matters, and that you truly matter. Our community and our country need to hear your voices. We need to see and feel your commitment and to feel your influence and to benefit from your kindness. Always remember that as you move forward beyond High School West, that you represent us, your families, our school, and Cherry Hill, and represent us with pride, with honor, and with dignity. Represent us well as you move on into college and to the military and into the working life. And always, please, choose to be kind. Be gracious and be strong. Say thank you and make a positive impression. Each and every day, make choices that will influence those around you in a positive manner. Smile, say hello, and be kind. Let kindness be at your core. Let it be part of your foundation as people, and let it be your strength and your connection to home. Each of you has continued to show the adults in our community that we are blessed with the greatest responsibility and the most incredible opportunity that anyone could have, because we have been fortunate to watch as you have grown and begun to choose your own path. So I thank you, and I wish you all my sincere congratulations. Mrs. Neary, would you join me at the podium? Mrs. Neary, as the Superintendent of the Cherry Hill Public School District, I present to you the Cherry Hill High School West class of 2021, and I assure you that they have fulfilled all of the requirements necessary to certify them for graduation.
Thank you, Dr. Malash, Dr. Morton, the staff and administration of Cherry Hill High School West, and the administration of the Cherry Hill Public School District. On behalf of the Cherry Hill Board of Education, I accept the Cherry Hill High School class of Cherry Hill High School West 2021 and authorize its commencement. I am honored to speak before the graduating class of 2021. You have done it. You have taken your last exam, attended your last sporting event, and attended your last high school dance. It was a year of virtual performances, social distance, school activities, and sporting events with few attendees, yet you took it in stride, and we could all learn something from your adaptability. Now you proceed to the next chapter of your lives. It has been a strange end to your high school career, no doubt, but you persevered, and today you sit on this field, proud to move on to whatever comes next. For some, that is college. Others, it could be traveling or even the armed forces. But no matter what it may be, enjoy this time. Spend it with family and friends. Enjoy the little moments laughing over dinner, for if there is one thing that we can glean from these very surreal last 18 months, it is those moments are truly what we will miss. The world is truly at your feet, and do not be afraid to embrace it. For one day, in the blink of an eye, you too will be your parents' age, telling stories of the year the world came to a stop. Make all the stories that follow be those of great change and progress, as I do know you will be the generation to change the world. I, for one, am looking forward to the great things you will do. Go celebrate this time with your family, as you have all worked so hard to get here. Finally, I say, class of 2021, congratulations, you did it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're gonna bring them up. Yeah, welcome to Board of Education. They're gonna distribute them.
Oh, I get to say more. Thank you. On behalf of the Cherry Hill Board of Education, I accept the Cherry Hill High School West class of 2021 and authorize its commencement. I would like the members of Board of Education to join me in the distributing diplomas to the members of the class. Dr. Morton, please have the names of the graduates from the class of 2021 read at this time.
After this, it's all downhill.
Okay. Lions, are you ready? Yes, you're ready. Let's go. All right. Miss Sky Ann Hills. Jordan Monet Bishop. Matthew James Fox. Samantha Fred. Danielle Elizabeth Dupree. Giselle Diana Dickinson. Nathan Mingsum Kong. Nicole Ann Cervantes Jimenez. Raphael Samuel Litwin.
Yes.
Sorry.
Kayla Alyssa Abato. Alexandra Hernandez Ventura. Allison Ray Ahern. Leah Nicole Almonte. Mia Francis Angelucci. Zoe Isabel Angud. Sophia Elizabeth Arsenis. Julia Catherine Wright. Joelle Aw. Michaela Jacqueline Aguadro. Carmen Nitzeli Benito Asamosa. Bryn Christine Books. Claudia Rose Bricker. Meredith Lacey Brickner. Sarah Lincoln Bromke. Victoria Donna Burnside. Jennifer O'Dalis Cabrera. Jenna Marie Casol. Alexa Johanna Castillo. Shelley Eunice Sulit Sanito.
I'll remember that. Dr. Malash, you took a note. Jared Nathaniel Adams. Maxwell Joseph Adams. Christopher Allen Alabansis. Michael Santino Altabelli. Griffin Werner Anderson. Niceem Lamar Andrews. Maxwell Jacob Applegate. Kyle Christopher Ramos Aquino. Nicholas Paul Arcaroli. Emin Arnautovic. Joseph A. Atchison IV. Dylan Atia. Martin Ascona Jr. Odesco J. Bailey. Kai Francis Barker. Brian Batista. German Beltran Jr. Justin Nietzsche Boyer. Jake Andrew Bradley. Isaiah James Brisbane.
Julia Sarah Chine. Andrea Noel Curtis. Thierry Kaniche Shai Daly. Abigail Marie Diambra. Milan Denora Davis. Anna Elizabeth DeLuca. Devin Nicole DeLuca. Catherine Marie De Pasquale. Joxine Lee. Carly Ann Dolchanzik. Hannah Erin Duran. Emily Claire Douglas. Gianna Lynn Drago. Isla Moselle Zaris. Beckett Ann Erdman. Haiti Espinoza Mateo. Shauna Isabel Evans. Ariana Monet Foster. Annalise Nicole Frett. Casey Rachel Gamera.
Reginald Anthony Brown. Justin Aiden Bush. Aiden Padraig Campbell. Colin Graham Chance. Brandon David Hudgeleski. Christopher Charles Church Jr. Michael John Salerso Jr. Alexander Emmanuel Colazo. Nicholas Vincent Conti. Isaac Brandon Cruz. Cameron Anthony Dandridge. Aiden Brock Davidson. Jaden Luis Davis. Sean Patrick Davis. Amado de la Cruz III. Marcus Anthony DeSilvio. Mustafa Yeet Dennis Kurdu. Khalil Jezaniah Dingle. Robert Joseph McCullough.
Catherine Gallagher. Fiora Gallagher. Olivia Gabrielle Jerice. Courtney Joanne Grinhart. Jessica Gonzalez. Sofia Vidalba Grafeo. Kasia Ilay Grashenko. Abigail Rose Grout. Diana Leslie Gutierrez. Emily Rose Haya. Leanne He. Genesis Crystal Hernandez Castillo. Olivia Lee Hoke. Marina A. Heridas. Julia Nicole Irwin. Brianna Marie Johnson. Sarah Elizabeth Jones. Sarah Ewan Kim. Sarah Heelan Kim.
Ian Patrick Dolan. Jeffrey Jays Douglas. Amir Kyrie Dowling. Tyler Stephen Edwards. Brandon Michael Erasmus. Davin Tasia Espinosa. Ashraf Ibrahim Isa. Andre Pedro Estella. Samir Nahe Farhat. Brian Michael Feeney. Ethan Christopher Flint. Stephen Bryson Flynn. Ryan Michael Fox. Ethan Aaron Fulecki. Andres Garcia. Nicholas Stanley Gemsky. Angelo John Giannopoulos. Aiden John Gibb. Thomas Edward Giordano. Brett Michael Goen.
Caitlin Elizabeth King. Gianna Marie Coolis. Annika Felice LaFosse. Arlen Villalona Salcedo. Kennedy Janine Lawson. Tori Blair Lewis. Sue Sin Lin. Caitlin Grace Linneman. Isabella Saldana Lombardo. Ashley Samantha Lopez Munoz. Zashika Luisa Rani. Evangeline Luna. Danielle Michael Mardino. Samantha Ann Markoff. Adriana Marzoka. Julia Michelle Matchak. Yasmin May. Aiden Rose McGady. Taylor Marie McHugh. Olivia Faith McMullen.
Levant Lionel Graves. Anthony Philip Grimm. Kane David Guerrero. Christopher Mark Guerreri. Xavier Paul Hallenbeck. Alexander Francis Hanley. Sean Matthew Hanley. Sebastian Zabinski. Sean Patrick Higgins. Desmond Jerome Hill. Khalil Akai Hughes. Conrad Peter Jablonski. Joshua Zion Jean-Baptiste. Raymond Walter Kehrig. Michael Lutendu Kangaju. Oscar Hao Key. Robert Francis Kempf III. Mark Anthony Kitchens, Jr.
Jonae April Ann McPherson. Lorena Mendez Munoz. Andrea Christina Mitchell. Madeline Moore. Gianna Marie Morabito. Nancy Morales Mateo. Paige Madison Muntz. Faith Isabella Nomi. Antonia Nasis. Dawn Ton Win. Tao Trang Huang Win. Jolianne Lei Yujongdi. Isabella Demi Noel. Bethel Emole Lalua Angugbangbi. Madeline Reese Orafiche. Michaela Noel O'Shea. Gabrielle Imani Overton. Sydney Marie Owens. Elizabeth Grace Ownby. Grace Lauren Paulin.
Noah Donato Kress. Philip Jan Krisharkson. Felipe Manuel Lafosse. Matthew Richard Lang. Brendan Paul Lie. Jacob I. Litwin. Nicholas Andrew Lombardi. Joseph Armando Longo. Joaquim Gabriel Lopez. Anthony Hugh Wong. Trent James Limper. Andrew Joseph Mans. Jason Scott Marin. Jack Zhang. Manav Vikrambai Moraro. Gustavo Silva Martins. Ronald Preston McBride. Jack Allen McCandless. James Kevin McConaughey. Maximilian Chase McCullough.
Alejandra Michelle Perez Mendez. Megan Olivio Peters. Caitlin Noel Pinho. Michaela Quinn Procopio. Maya Lee Ramadi, Jacqueline Ramos Mateo, Kyra Brielle Randolph, Hannah Michelle Reck, Marlene Reyes, Kimberly Reyes Medina, Jamie Elizabeth Rodriguez, Idalis Rodriguez Santana, Jennifer Rodriguez Santana, Stephanie Marie Rogers, Lindsay Yvette Rojas, Emily Sunshine Romero, Natalie Rubio, Ione Antigone Sloan, Samantha San.
Ryan Hunter McGrath, Sergio Melendez Jr., Jaden Alexander Mercado, John Anthony Miller III, William James Milligan, Mikhail Isa Mitchell, Blake Evan Mitnick, Isaac Dion Morton, Tamir Mahdi Shakur Mohammed, Bao Dui Nguyen, Dat Tuan Nguyen, Tien Vu Huang Nguyen, Daniel Andre Nikiforov, Kenneth Orlando Ortiz Broncano, Ryan Thomas Ott, Dominic Joseph Otobre, John Anthony Otobre, Peter Shields Owen, Zachary Robert Owen, Nicholas Anthony Papanieri,
Cheska Angelique Santos, Amelia Hope Schaefer, Sheris Vianne Scott, Lauren Gabrielle Scott, Rita Shake, Rachel Sabbath, Isabella Grace Citineri, Summer M. Solarski, Jacqueline Taylor Smith, Gianna Mariah Smitherman, Allison Brooke Sokolik, Maria Spiato, Laura Elise Stanley, Messiah Sadaya Wyatt, Isabella Grace Sylvester. Kayla Ann Thompson. Leslie Klowiska Teteros. Mia Elaine Talota. Samantha Inez Yusufari.
Connor Ryan Paris. William Henry Parks. Joseph Clayton Pearson. Tom That Pham. Matthew William Pitt. Bryant Patrick Powell. Christian Adair Ramos Vasquez. Timothy John Redmond. Jaden Anthony Reyes. Andrew Robert Rhodes. Jeremiah Rivera. Sebastian James Rohde. Lyle Reed Rosenthal. Joshua Christopher Ross. John Pearson Ruggieri. Michael Robert Sagady. Marcus Manuel Santana. Christian Anthony Santiago.
Caitlin Rebecca Urson. Liana Janine Valentin. Isis Rose Velez. Tara Gia Vaughn. Rosemary Villatoro. Jessica Juan Alicia. Angela Wang. Isabella Rose West. Victoria Gabrielle Wilcox. Ayana A.D. Williamson. Brandon Isaiah Whitaker. Ivan J.C. Yu. Wilson Wu. Leo Sean Wilson. Aiden Patrick Whitehead. Nicholas Rick Santos. Ricardo Nick Santos. Vaughn Kenneth Schreiber.
Justin H. Seng. Stephen Brian Seguros. Joseph Michael Simpson. Komaljit Singh. William Xavier Singleton. Timothy Sin. Aries Din Nguyen. Nicholas David Slivko. Jonathan David Smith. Kevin Peter Son. Chase Thomas Southward. Elias Hiram Spiller. Max D. Staple. Tommy Kanjia Stevens. Trevor French Stevens. Charles Edward Stewart. Wesley Ken Buendia Sai. Patrick Francis Taney. Jeffrey Charbel Rafiq Tarchichi. Alexander Tai.
Shane Keenan Thompson. Antonio Joseph Torres. Nia Long Min Tran. Keith Truncal. Alexander Kenneth Turley. Anthony Hien Ung. Shiv Kumar Upal. Daniel Ryan Valentino. Israel Vasquez Benito. Luis Alberto Santiago. Renato G. Vilmore. Marcus Eric Waddell. John Richard Wagner. Hamdan Ahmad Wakas. Gabriel Jacob Warren. Jalen Lewis.
Please join me in congratulating the class of 21 on the successful completion of their high school experience. And now, the students will participate in a decades-old West tradition led by Miss Sky Ann Hills. Sky, come up.
All right, this is the moment. Okay, class of 21, you may now move your tassel to the left side, signifying your graduate status. Wait. Okay. Now will everyone please stand and join the class of 21 in the alma mater led by Samantha Fred.
High upon Old Chapel Hill stands the school I call my own.
And for one last time, I say, class dismissed. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys, gals. Thank you very much.
One more year.
All the folders in this box right here, please. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Have a great summer. Right there. Have a great summer. See you all soon. August.
Hey, Sarah, bringing back the good old days.
Summertime. Oh yeah, Jasmine talking. Yep. Get a McDonald's.
Nick! How's it going? We should take